Welcome back. It is, of course, deadline day. It means, of course, we've got to get Kevin Hatchard's one to watch for today, a one to watch deadline day special. Let's start with Mathys Tel. Arsenal, we're hearing, are probably not going to pursue interest. Man United looking unlikely. Do you think he's going to stay at Bayern Munich?
I think he will, because they want a permanent deal, and it looks as though nobody's willing to commit to that kind of finance. So even though Tel wants more game time somewhere, I think he's going to stay put.
OK. Time will tell. James McAtee, Pep on Friday says he thinks he will stay. Do you think he will?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting, actually, about McAtee is that he's a player that Leverkusen were interested in. He's a player that Dortmund have been interested in. So there's clearly, leading clubs in Germany are looking at him. And I imagine there's a fair few clubs in Europe who feel that he could bring something. So if he wants more game time, there might be some offers out for him on deadline day.
What about Carney Chukwuemeka? How likely is it that he's going to go to Borussia Dortmund from Chelsea?
Yeah, looking at the reports in German media, it looks like this is going to happen. It's a long-held interest. Dortmund want more strength in depth in that midfield area. They'll have games for him not only in the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League as well. So I think that's a deal that is going to happen, and a fresh start for him.
Right, Nico Gonzalez, the Porto midfielder who's been linked with Manchester City. Do you think this has got legs? Would he be a good option for Manchester City?
I think he'd be a great option for them, actually. He's rebuilt his career to an extent at Porto. Barcelona, he had a fair few games for them, but then he got loaned out to Valencia. He's ended up at Porto, scored a massive goal for them in midweek as they beat Maccabi in the Europa League. That kept them in Europe, and he's a player that I think Pep Guardiola could really use.
Is he a defensive midfielder strictly? Is he a Rodri replacement or different?
He would give energy in that midfield. He can get forward and score goals and make goals, but certainly I think he'd be a more secure option alongside Kovacic maybe. I think that could work really well.
OK, keep your eye on Nico Gonzalez. How about Dusan Vlahovic? It's a name that often crops up. Could he possibly move today?
The reason I've thrown him in is because Rondel Colomouani's gone to Juventus. He started ahead of Vlahovic at the weekend, scored twice, and Vlahovic is expensive for Juventus. And he is the kind of player that I think if the right offer came up, they'd be willing to do business, because he's not a perfect fit for what Thiago Motta wants to do. So I think if somebody came in with the right offer, Juventus would listen.
Arsenal, I wonder. I'll just say it quietly. Arsenal.
Knows?
Right, Ansu Fati for Barcelona. There was talk of him possibly being offloaded earlier in the window. Might that still happen?
I think the thing with Ansu Fati is that he's clearly surplus to requirements at Barcelona. Hansi Flick has made that clear, I think, with his team selections. He's a player that we know has struggled with injury. Didn't quite happen for him at Brighton in the way that he hoped. So I think this is something that Barcelona would be happy to get him off the wage bill, at least temporarily. And there have been clubs like Besiktas, like Ajax, who've been interested. Could a Premier League team actually pull the trigger and go for him?